In memory of the Right Honourable Charles Booth, born at Liverpool 18th of March 1840, died at Gracedieu 23rd of November 1916, and of his wife Mary Catherine, daughter of Charles Zachary Macaulay, born at Bristol November 1847, died at Gracedieu 23rd of September 1938. During many years, he devoted the leisure of an arduous life to the study of the condition of the poor in London. He diligently sought for a foundation on which remedies could be based, and he lived to see the fulfilment of a part of his hopes in the lightening of the burden of old age and poverty. To those who lived under his immediate influence, he brought help and joy. He leaves them a precious example. You might be wondering why such a great social reformer is buried here in Thringstone churchyard. Well, he chose to be buried amongst the people he loved. Charles and his brother Alfred ran the Booth shipping line based in Liverpool, and Charles was living in London. He wanted to find a home for himself and his family somewhere between the two. His search brought him to Gracedieu Manor. He rented the manor and lived there with his family for many decades until his death in 1916. Whilst there, he undertook a massive survey of London, looking at the plight of the poor. He was ably assisted by his wife Mary, who drafted and edited many of the reports. His work resulted in 17 volumes, and this is volume 2. His study took him 17 years and cost him £40,000 of his own money. He also produced maps which were colour-coded to show the various levels of poverty in each street and court. Black was the lowest level and red the more wealthy, but there were various shades in between. His work showed that 30% of people were living below the poverty line, and that was a phrase coined by Charles Booth himself. He also was concerned about older people, and what he discovered there is that once their income had stopped coming in, they soon fell below that poverty line too, and their health declined, and many of them would die earlier than they should. Charles campaigned for many years for a state pension for the elderly poor. An Act of Parliament was finally passed in 1908 and came into force from 1909. Fortunately, Charles lived long enough to see that happen. Charles and Mary liked to arrange fun events for families in the grounds of the manor, but they also did much more to enhance the life of the community. Mary would invite local women up to the manor, where she would teach them to sew and read. Charles did many things, including helping to start the Whitwick and District Nursing Association and starting the Gracedieu Cricket Club, which still exists today. In 1901, Charles bought a rundown farmhouse in Thringstone and turned it into a clubhouse. There were reading rooms, a billiard room and allotments at the back. Later, a large extension with a hall was added. Initially, the clubhouse was for men only, but later women were also admitted, and Mary was able to use it to help local women improve their skills. I'm now in the very room in the community centre where Mary sometimes worked with the local women. The clubhouse went on to become what is believed to be one of the first community centres in the country. Its name was recently changed to the Charles Booth Community Centre, a lasting tribute to what he and his wife gave to the people of Thringstone. Charles was a humble man, and he actually turned down a peerage. The likes of being buried in Westminster Abbey were not for him, and so he lies here with his wife and one of his daughters, Julia Mary, for eternity.